about to leave. Already packing, come with me. I'm not.
Hello friends and enemies, welcome back to Happy For Now. It's me, Isabel, here with my mid-month wrap-up for August. Wow, I can't believe we're halfway through the month already. It's been quite the year, so you know, every little step closer we get, I think, like, the better I feel about the year ending. Hopefully it ends well, we'll see. But yeah, I wanted to run through all of the books I read so far this month in August, and then also I forgot to do a last 10 for those last few books I read in July, because I don't know why. I thought I'd tacked it onto my July stats stuff, but I didn't. So I'm gonna just run through those. The format for this, I'll put timestamps down below in case you don't care. I'm gonna do July books, my August books. I'm gonna give you an update on a reading competition I'm having right now with my mom, and then yeah, that'll be it. As always, links to everything is in the description box, all the books I talk about, and also where to find me on social if you want a script trial. All that fun stuff is down there, so be sure to check it out and subscribe if you want more romance content. All right, let's get to it. July books, I forgot. I don't know how I did this. So I forgot about 10 books in July to talk about on my channel, and I really want to talk about them because a lot of them were really good books that I really enjoyed. So first up, we have Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall. I think this is a quintessential, I talked about this in my wrap up as a favorite. It is a quintessential, like, mandatory read if you want to consider yourself an intersectional feminist, I believe. I think it's also a great starting point if you're new to feminism and some of the ideals, because it may help you go into reading other things better and understanding when it's white feminism and when it's intersectional feminism. So please check out Mickey Kendall's Hood Feminism. Then we have Hairpin Curves. So I briefly talked about this in my July wrap up as well. This is a sapphic romance novel from the new Karina line, and I loved it. Like 4.5 out of 5 star rating. This is a road trip. Former friends find their way together. There's great use of toys in this book, and there is a great mutual scene that happens, and it's real spicy, real steamy, real good. It's also the Romance Sparks Joy pick of the month for this month, which I picked because I loved it so much. I was like, we have to do this one. So I picked that, and be sure to check it out and maybe join the Discord for Romance Sparks Joy if you're interested. Next, we have Felix Ever After by Kaysen Callender. I really liked this. I gave it a 5 star. I think it's like a 4.5 maybe. I can see why some people wouldn't like it, but I felt like Felix was a very authentically messy teenager, because man, I for sure was a mess as a teen. I don't know about y'all, but I was a mess. It's just kind of part of the, like, field when you're that age, you know? Like, it's just kind of part of how growing up works to an extent, I feel like. So I really enjoyed this. I think it was a great story about finding yourself, figuring out that the things you assume aren't always right, and yeah, I thought it was really fun. Great audiobook. I think I also talked about The Deep by Rivers Solomon, David Diggs, and William Hudson, and Jonathan Snipes. Okay, so it has a lot of authors. I believe I talked about this in my July wrap-up as well. I loved this. I think this is a great book to listen to. I think it's something you can definitely revisit multiple times. There's a live on Bookish Realms channel, Ashley's, where her and 5 black booktubers, 6 black booktubers, something like that, go in depth into this, and they really, I think it's a great conversation. I still have to finish it. I think I got 3 hours of it watched, but it's a great conversation to give some context to those of us who obviously aren't black around things happening in this book. This was also like a 5-star read. It was incredible. All right, then I also listened to If We Were Villains, which is narrated by one of my favorite narrators, which is Robert Peckoff. He narrates the Immortals After Dark series, which I adore, and this was a 3-star read for me. It was not amazing, it was not terrible, it just was okay. I don't have a lot to say about it. I'm not a huge Shakespeare nerd, so maybe that's part of why I didn't love it. I enjoyed a lot of the pieces happening, and I liked the narration, but it was just okay. It's a very hyped, I feel like, so that might have been part of it. Then we have Love Her or Lose Her by Tessa Bailey that I read. I feel like this is a very, like, I feel like Tessa Bailey is becoming like that divisive author that either people love or hate. So I actually still haven't rated this on Goodreads apparently, oops. I actually want to type up a full review. I was worried about this. Like, I'm someone who's been married for a long time now. We're going on 10 years like this month. So reading a second chance romance between a married couple can be a little scary to go into. How's it going to be handled? Much less the fact that it is someone who served in the military. I had some big issues with some of Dom's beliefs that he had around like all of the men he served with having like these big grand plans, because we did not experience that in our time that my partner was in, to be honest with you. So I just didn't understand where that idea came from, because I think so far of all of our friends that have gotten out before and after us, I believe my partner is the one that's gone the farthest in their career and maybe had the most plans. And I'm not like, that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that. I'm just, Dom had this idea that like everyone was making all these big plans and goals when they got out, and I just was like, no one we know is that way. Obviously, and that's obviously like a hit or miss thing. Everyone's experiences are different, but it just kind of bothered me. Let's see what else. I did not love the therapist in this book, but yeah, I enjoyed it overall. I think it was a fun book. I think it brought the Tessa Bailey banter that you love and the spiciness that I love from her. It was like a 4-star, like maybe a 3.5, but it was fun. Like, I did not hate this book. I, again, was super nervous about going into it though. Then I read Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I actually read this digitally on her website. You can read it for free. I figured out what was volume 1 of the book, and I used that on Goodreads because I wanted to read it before I bought it, because what if I hate it? Like, that's shelf space I don't want to take up. And I adored it. I think it was such a cute high school romance setup. It's very sweet. It's very well drawn. I love the characters. I'm excited to read more. I'm excited to add it to my shelf and have some physical copies of it eventually. Then I did a reread of Magic Bites by Alona Andrews. So I mentioned previously I was going to try and read one of these a month, give or take, and so I kind of started that last month, and I will say that revisiting the first book is a little rough. There's some things in it that were like, whoa, okay, we're using that word then. Cool. It is from 2007, so I'm not saying that we didn't know those things weren't okay then, but I do think the volume of us saying no to those things was lower. It was good. I enjoyed revisiting it. I cannot wait to start the next book. All right, so those are all of the July books I left off. Let's go into August reads so far. So in August, I have read 11 books so far, one of which I finished up and started at the end of July, which is Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova, who I am a admitted fangirl of. I love almost everything she's put out. I love her YA books. I like most of her adult romance she's published. They're just a total blast, to be honest. I really, really like them. So I read this. This is a great fantasy book about someone who has magical powers, and they've like been banished, and they're in this band of troop together, kind of traveling and working undercover to find their way back to the castle and maybe sabotage and subterfuge their way into the situation. I'm really enjoying it. I don't want to give a lot away because, I mean, it's fantasy. You know what the plot's going to be. Like, it's an adventure. But I really liked it. It's very good. I felt like it was a solid 4-star debut to a, not debut, like a entry to a series. I can't wait for the next book to come out. All right, next we have one of my most highly anticipated books of the year, which was You Had Me at Hola by Alexis Daria. This book, y'all. I love this book with my whole heart. I ordered the signed copy from Love's Sweet Arrow because I had to have it. And I got an ARC for Romance Sparks Joy purposes. And I am just so glad I read this book. I loved this so much. We are following Jasmine and Ashton on their adventure to find love together on a set for a new series that will be streaming on a service. So think of Netflix. So their first day on set, they have one of my favorite meet cutes, which involves spilled coffee. And there's a slight age gap here. She's like 30, he's 40. There's some secrets. The paparazzi are after her because her and this musician broke up. He doesn't like the spotlight. It's so good, y'all. So good. I just really liked the interweaving of their life and then also scenes from the show reflecting things happening in their life kind of. And they just had really great chemistry. I mean, if I have to have illustrated covers, this is what I want out of them. Like, this is stunning. I just love Alexis Daria. I've only read 2 books by her now, and I'm gonna read one. I've got one or two more on my TBR from her Dance Off series, and if I like those, she is going to become one of my auto-buy authors, guaranteed. Like, there is no way she will not be that. If you are interested in this, I really can't recommend you pick it up enough. You may not love it as much as I did. I just really enjoyed the culture in here, and the relationship and how everything just intertwined. It felt like a nice warm hug, just when I needed it. Can't recommend it enough. Next, I listened to The Voting Booth through the Libro FM audio listening program. You can get, if you have a certain amount of followers on a platform, I think it's 1,000, so don't go applying like all excited if you're not there yet. But I got it through my Romance Sparks Joy stuff because I do have romance books by underrepresented authors on there. Anyways, I got that recently, and I got a couple of audio arcs this way. So including The Voting Booth by Brandy Colbert, whatever. Anyways, here's the cover. It's super cute. This book, I listened to it so fast because it's not very long. And I think, so we keep having books come out that are around politics for YA, and I'm not against this, okay? I don't think it's a bad idea. But this one follows 2 fresh 18-year-olds voting in their first election, and it is so freaking cute. Oh my gosh. There's kind of adventures and hijinks of sorts happening, and they're watching voter suppression happen and fighting to help, Marva is fighting to help Duke get his vote in for his first election, and I just love how passionate Marva was about politics and engaging in it and changing it, because like, to me, if I had a teen and they were gonna read a book about voting or like politics, this is the book I want them to read. It's a book about being passionate about it and voting and like making your voice heard versus these like falling in love across the aisle things that keep happening, because those are no good. But anyways, I loved this book. I cannot recommend it enough. The audio was delightful, and yeah, it's so fun. Libro FM is also a great listening app if you're not using it yet. I really can't recommend making the switch enough. Not that I get any benefit from it, I just honestly have found I prefer Libro FM to my Audible app. Next, I read Bookish and the Beast by Ashley Poston. This was part of the Beauty and the Beast Reading the Tropes that I just did. I'll link it in the cards up here and in the description box for you if you're interested. I read 5 books that are Beauty and the Beast themed. I give this one a solid 3.5 out of 5. I want to add it to my bookshelf. It was super cute. I truly enjoyed it so much. I love this Fangirl series she has going. I like the universe she's created. I like the fandom. This was just super cute YA, like the cutest. I really like Ashley's writing, and I'm excited to read more by her as more books come out. I'm gonna skip around and just go through all the books from the Beauty and the Beast video because I'm not gonna give you huge summaries since I did a whole like 30-minute video on this. Next we have Lord of the Abyss by Nalini Singh. This is book 4 in the Lords of the Shadows series. It's a Harlequin Nocturne, so it is a category romance that was published a while ago. You can read them out of order, and I do think if you're interested, you might just want to read this book. From what I'm hearing, it's the best one, and you really don't need the context of the other books. This was a great Beauty and the Beast retelling. Solid 3.5 star read. Also, it really twisted the tropes of that theme, the things we're used to, in a really great way that I freaking loved, y'all. Like, I loved it so much that they did this. Yeah, I really can't recommend it enough if you love Beauty and the Beast books like I do. I'm always looking for more, and it's really hard because I feel like I read them all. Next, we have Abducted by Kay Island, which is also a 3-star read. This one's one that I can't recommend to you easily because there are a lot of content warnings. Check out my Goodreads review before you pick it up, because there is rape on the page, there is sexual assault by a parent, there's suicide, there is death of a parent. I mean, it's, y'all, this book. I really enjoyed my time with it, and I found it really engaging and very readable, in the fact that I couldn't put it down, but I can't wreck it to you very easily. Next is In the Vanisher's Palace by Aliette de Bar. This is a fantasy sapphic romance. It's a very short novella. It's a great audiobook. It was on my Hoopla personally, so maybe it'll be on yours. I don't know. Can't guarantee it, but it's worth a check out if you do like fantasy. And I think this was really fun, interesting world building, very different, very unique Beauty and the Beast retelling. Then we have A Beastly Kind of Earl by Mia Vinci, who I'm going to call the like Tessa Dare-esque self-published historical romance author. This book is packed full of good banter, good steam, and just, I was giggling a lot while I listened to it. It is on Kindle Unlimited and Audible Escape, so if you're interested, you can check it out for, I guess, kind of free if you have those services. That was also like a 4-star read. All right, now for the last 3 books I read, which have been in the last literally like 3 days before I filmed this. First up, we have Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Bethany over at Beautifully Bookish Bethany was raving about this book, and I knew I wanted to read it. I saw that cover, I knew I wanted to read it. I'm trying to find other things and other genres that I like what thrillers do I like and what kind of horror books do I like. So I listened to this on audio from my library, and I was so pleased. It is very atmospheric. I was grossed out towards the end at some things, but it took a very long time to get there, so that was okay. There's a lot of content warnings on this, and I'm gonna say go look at Bethany's review because she has listed them all out. I'll link it in the comment box, of course, because oh boy, it's a horror book. It's got a lot in it. I've still gotta write my review for it, but I really, really liked it. It was such a fun read, and it felt like it gave me that like slight skin crawl without like I want to put this book down and walk away. Like I was still very engaged in what was happening and finding out the full plot of the story. All right, and then I finished Destiny's Surrender by Beverly Jenkins, which I gave 3.5 out of 5 stars, 2, not 4. This one was probably the grittiest Beverly Jenkins I've read yet. I liked it, but I didn't. I've started the next one in this series, Destiny's Captive, and I actually like it more so far. But I think this one is it's still a great continuation of the series. I loved Billy. I think the villain was just so evil in this that I wasn't ready for it. Like the villain prince in this is awful. I mean, awful, y'all. Like I was like, whoa, when like the evilness was happening every time. And this also has like my least favorite tropes, which involve like secret baby, and I just don't love secret baby, but it did involve a sex worker, and I felt like that rep was pretty good, and the way it was handled was well done. They really didn't take shit from anybody who wanted to criticize her past, so I always love that in a book. But yeah, Billy was an amazing heroine. Everything else in the book was just kind of okay, and I'm slowly getting through Miss Bev's backlist, so I know I'm gonna find some I just don't connect with as I read through these, but that's okay. Not every book by an author you love is gonna be like your favorite book. Oh boy. All right, and the last book I'm gonna talk about that I read in August, I'm saving this for last for a reason. So if you want to skip this discussion of Midnight Sun, go ahead and skip to the timestamp right here, because I'm not going to talk about it long, but I'm going to run through my brief thoughts, since we do have a 2-hour live show over on Bethany's channel where we talk about how bad this book is. So I went into Midnight Sun like kind of hopeful, okay? I didn't go in hoping to like hate it. I ended up at about a 2-star because I felt like the writing was at least marginally better than it was when I reread the Twilight series. I'm happy for the experience, and I love the live show series that we did. I think it was so good. I think it was so informative and helpful for everyone involved who watched. Like, thank you so much, and if you've subscribed because of it, thank you. Like, it was such a great experience. I loved hanging out with everyone on that live show. Autumn from Chapter Molumpkins, and Michelle from Thor Wants Another Letter, Ashley from Bookish Realm, and Isabella from The Feminist Bookworm on Instagram. Like, we had a blast together. It was such a good group to talk about the book. And I think we did a good job covering the issues and the problems within this whole series. But like, we just need to stop giving her airtime, in my opinion. So all I'm gonna say about Midnight Sun for the most part is it's terrible. I don't think you should read it. I don't think it's worth it. Like, it really didn't give. So the parts I liked of Midnight Sun honestly could have easily been a novella or a short story snippet on Stephenie Meyer's website versus this 700 and whatever, 600 and some page book. It was a slog to get through. It almost put me into a reading slump, y'all. Like, if you're gonna read it, please, please, please get it from your library. And please, like, donate if you can to the Quillette tribe. I already did my donation and I plan on giving more over the next span of time because, like, I'm just mad. I'm mad that this book sold so much. I'm mad that after she's like, I don't want to be known for Twilight, I'm gonna publish 2 more Twilight books. Like, I'm just, somebody needs to check this woman. And don't doubt me, I'm ready to go protest outside our house. So if you want to go with me, let's go. Not really, but you know, this book really, really shows her beliefs in a really not great way. And I continue to, I need to go find, there's apparently some great articles or papers that take down about her religious beliefs and the religious in the text, like what things are representing. Yeah, I've decided I think Carlisle is a stand-in for John Smith, the man who created Mormonism / like the perfect family thing. It's very weird, y'all. It is not good. Seriously, don't bother. All right, that's it for all the books I read in August. Let's do an update on a little reading competition I have going on that's very fun. So I tweeted about this a while ago and everyone's like super invested apparently, it seems like. So I thought I would bring it to my mid-month wrap-ups and talk about my competition with my mom. My mom and I, of course, are friends on Goodreads. She reads a lot of books. I also read a lot of books, generally more books than her is the key here. So I noticed the other day that my mom has read more books than me this year already. As of this recording, she's at 196 books this year, and I'm only at 179. Yeah, I'm only at 179, and she's already at 196. What is going on? So I told her that I am now in a quiet competition in which I'm going to kick her butt and read more books than her this year. So yeah, that's happening. I've been updating on Twitter. I figured I would just tell you all about it here. Maybe I'll do a vlog where I try to read a bunch of like short books to beat her. I don't know how I'm gonna catch up. We'll see. But yeah, so that's going on, and she has been texting me or telling me she's not gonna mark a book as finished when she finishes it to try and let me catch up. And I was like, no, that's cheating. But then she'll go around and turn around and mark it as finished. My mom, y'all, she's the best and the worst. Not really. I adore her. I just thought I'd share about this silly competition we have going, a little funny thing. Yeah, I think that's all I have for this month. I will see you at the end of the month with like full stats of the month, like how many pages I read, how many hours of audiobooks I listened to. And yeah, I'll see you again in a few days with another video. Thank you for hanging out with me. Be sure to check out the description box for everything. And there's also a link to a Discord channel where we talk about romance books. And if you're a romance tuber / booktuber and you want to come collab with people or get advice, feel free to check it out. I will see you soon. Bye.
Really asking, we'll get away to a place where we don't know.